The Shakespeare Salt tripod rod rest stand. This video will show how I did certain modifications to make improvements. Things such as making it a lot easier to set up and take down, and also reducing the weight. If you haven't seen the original video where I show the finished item, that video can be found within my channel. Just search for Shakespeare Salt modifications. Some of the things we're going to look at improving is the locking nuts for the top rod rest bar and the bottom cups bar. I just find them a little bit too fiddly, especially in the winter when your hands are freezing cold. It's very easy to lose those. Another thing I don't like is having to bend my wrist around the back of the main stanchion to adjust the cups up and down the bar. It just feels a little bit awkward. You may prefer to keep these stanchion bars, but personally I don't see any point to them. The legs have spikes on the bottom, and that's more than enough for my use. Just in case I want to put these back on, it wouldn't be a problem at all. Now remove the adjustable cup holder and take out the front and rear adjustable knobs. Using a screwdriver, you can prise out the nuts that are inserted into the adjustable cup holder bracket. It's easier that way. Yeah, needs a smaller screwdriver in there really, but I have got it. There we go. This is the larger knob that was at the back of the bracket. I'm just measuring the diameter of the thread here, which is roughly 8mm. After drilling the bracket only partially the way through, I'm now using the knob to form a thread in that bracket by just twisting it in and out a few times. I'm now increasing the diameter of the hole in the rod cups bar by the same 8mm. This has got to be one of the simplest mods I've ever done. So you can see the spring in there. So at the moment that's locked in so that this cradle can't move up and down, but you can undo that and then it slides up and down wherever you want, or you can undo that because it's on a spring. There's your spring, look. I might need to adjust that spring a little bit, and this is difficult to show while I'm trying to hold the camera, but you can pop that out, turn, and it locks into there, and then put this wherever you want it for your packing away. Lock it back in, and that's that done. All nice and neat in one. Now you don't need to lean round the back with one clip, which was this one round there. It's all on this one heavy duty one, which matches the one that goes at the top, I believe. Oh no, it doesn't, sorry. It matches another one at the bottom. So as I said in the video, that I may have to adjust this spring, so I have actually done that now. It just makes it a lot easier when you pop it out and twist it round to go from use to storage. So yeah, so how I've done that, just a little thing I want to show you, because there wasn't a lot of room on the collar of the thread, so I've had to chop a little piece out of that. So if I just remove this spring off here, which now clips around a collar, so on the knob then I just cut a little piece of the plastic away. This is it here. So that was around there. So I've just carefully sawn all the way around, not going all the way through, and removed this piece of plastic, and then found that there was this metal collar in here, which is perfect for holding the spring. So when I put the spring on, it fits over that collar now, and it just holds it in place. Not that it needs it, because you don't need to remove this knob now. Once it's fitted in there, that's it, it stays in there. So yeah, so that's something that you really should do. Just take a little bit of the collar off. It just gives you a bit more room for the spring to move in and out like that. So moving on to the rod rest bar then. Again, I find the nut too small and fiddly, and if you lose this nut, the bar can't be used until a replacement nut can be found. In my opinion, the whole rod rest assembly shows lack of thought and unnecessary manufacturing cost, of which the end user will pay for. I show how this assembly can be significantly improved, resulting in quicker assembly and dismantling without the need of any additional parts. Right, so now we've removed that out there, I've got an idea of plugging this up with a bit of aluminium. This is 15mm alloy. So I marked off the bottom here, just this not quite centre look. This is the size of my fingers. I'm trying to hold the screw thread on there, the screw, sorry, upside down to mark around it. I just can't, I haven't got enough room to get in because the screw's only small. So a little tip for that, get your screw, get a tiny little blob of blue tack, press it into the end of the screw, place the screw where you want it, press down. It should hold enough in place for you then to get your pen and mark it. Right, because these screws are going to be going in on the edges, obviously it's not as thick here as it is in the middle, and the screws would come through the other side. Now that'd be alright if you grind them down afterwards, but I don't want to do that. I want to try and keep this smooth if I can, so it slots in the channel nice and freely. So what I'm going to do is line it up with the centre of the hole, the head lined up to against the bar. Sorry, you can't see. Line it up against the bar so the head is in line with that bar. I'm doing this by eye, and then I'm going to mark the screw where I think it's going to be. Pick it up with pliers because it'll be up. Okay, that's both of them. You've got the thickness of this, so I can see it's not going to go in very far, but that's what we want. I'm going to set it at that. Remember, you can always do a little bit more, but once the hole's drilled, you can't go back. Okay, so I've got 2 holes, need a bit cleaning up. Right, just going to countersink them a little bit, not much, just a little bit. Start off with a big one. Okay, you can clean these up a little bit afterwards, but you can see at the back here roughly where the bar will fit. That's more than enough. Thread locker. Let's see how that fits now. Okay, so make sure this is all nice and clean. And slot it in. Solid. Just a demo, one thing I've noticed and what I've done a few times and I really don't like is when you're on the beach fishing and you come to put your rod down, sometimes the line can catch on there. See that? So you go to put your rod in and the line catches on here. Now what I've done is I put electrical tape around there to just take the edge off, but really it just looks a mess. Something we might have a look at as well, see what we can do. Also, these things there, why they're this long I don't know, but they really don't need to. Once your rod's sat in there, they could be cut down quite a bit, so we might do that at the same time. We'll have a look at that. This rubber sleeving would be useful, but to get it off and around all these bends, I would imagine it's going to be seriously difficult, even if it was heated up and whatever. It's just the bends are just too sharp to pull all that around. So what I'm going to do is get a Stanley knife, cut round here all the way around, try and pull that bit of the sleeve off, and then this bit I'll just split down the middle and discard that bit. Okay, let's have a go at that. After much deliberation, I didn't know how much to take off here. I've tried various different measurements, but I've decided I'm just going to just line it up like that with this here and just go straight across, so it's just an equal sized cup. It might not be the right thing to do, but we'll find out. I'm going to use a bit of shrink wrap. Right, what I've decided to do with these is measure just roughly past there, and just use them like an end cap. I'm doing both the same. Like that. and then I'm going to push them on like that, so they're fully on. Inside there, same on the other side. So it's like an end cap, and then I'm going to seal these up. Hopefully it works, because the tight bend obviously is making it wrinkle up quite a bit. So we'll see anyway, we can always adjust after. Right. Let that cool off a bit. It's a little bit wrinkly in there, but it's hardly anything. And with my asbestos fingers, I can manipulate it. Right. We'll let that cool down. We'll have a look then, because this whole bar is quite hot at the moment. So here I'm just marking out the main stanchion of the tripod stand. The intention is to drill some holes to lessen the weight. If I was going to do this again, I'd probably drill these from the back. That way you wouldn't be touching the guide rails, as you'll see in a bit. Just to make it a bit easier, a bit more stable for when I drill through this main stanchion, I'm just going to remove these legs here. You just undo this screw here, which is quite a long screw, obviously, because it goes all the way through, causing a hinge pivot point. Let's take these out. Take them out, and then you just pop that out. Job done. Just makes it a bit easier to hold this in the vise, or however I decide to hold it. Right, so to do the holes through the main stanchion of the tripod, you could use, what size is this, a 20mm. You could use a 20mm, which would fit in between the rails and go straight through out the bottom of the rail. But I'm going to choose a 25mm. Now it will touch the side rails a little, the guides, but I'm not worried about that. We can fettle them down afterwards with a file, and it shouldn't really bother it. But however, there's a big difference between a 20mm and a 25mm, and we are going to lose weight here, so the bigger the hole, the better. So yeah, I'm going to go for the 25mm as opposed to the 20mm. Okay, so there's some small pilot holes being drilled. Nice and easy. Right, there's the first one. Looks a mess at the moment, but obviously all the different colour paint, you can see where it is, does catch on the sides there by using the 25mm. But once we've filed that up, it should be fine. That's the piece that's come out, look, at the angle. Let's do the rest. Right, so I've took all the sharp edges off now, all the way along. Right, on to the next bit. So now what we're going to do is remove these, put them to one side for a bit. Now we're going to work on the spike and this part here. Yeah, so I've got an idea for this. Let's get on with it. Starting from that point there, where the point starts from the ridge, I'm 4 inches, 4 inches, 4 inches, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I don't think we need to go any further on at the moment, but we'll see how we get on with that anyway. Okay, pilot hole's done. Alright, perfect. Smooth both sides. Okay. After a little bit of sanding and spray painting with hard wearing paint and lacquer, the rod rest was now reassembled. So using a bit of the sleeving that we removed before, I cut a small piece at angles just on where the corners are to make a piece that shape, then glued it and fit it on here. As I say, it's purely for cosmetic reasons, but I just think it finishes the job off nicely. These holes are smaller than the holes that we did in the main stanchion bar, but they do provide a very useful addition to any rod rest. It doesn't have to be this rod rest. So to find out what these holes are for, please keep an eye out for an up and coming video where we'll reveal what they do.